Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in life when you wake up one morning and realize you're stuck. You're not broken, but you're not moving either. You're not lost, but you're not going anywhere. And in that moment, you feel like screaming, how did I get here? And how do I get out? Well, if that's you, if you're tired of feeling stuck, if you're tired of spinning your wheels and going, now her, because I believe, just like someone once told me, you have greatness within you, but greatness needs direction. Greatness needs momentum. And most of all, greatness needs a little push. So lean in, listen close. Because today we're about to break the chains, silence the fear, and ignite that fire in you again. Let's get you unstuck. Right here, right now. Let me know if you want it customized with your name, personal story, or to fit a specific duration. E.g. 30 seconds, 1 minute. Clarity is power. When you're feeling stuck, the first thing you often lack is a clear vision of where you're going or why you're even moving in the first place. Many people confuse motion with progress. They stay busy, but they aren't actually going anywhere meaningful. And that's because they don't have clarity. Without a clear destination, even the fastest car in the world will get lost. The same is true for your life. You can be talented, motivated, and hardworking, but if you don't know where you're going, you'll burn out spinning in circles. Getting clarity means sitting down with yourself and asking the hard questions. What do I really want? Why do I want it? What's holding me back from getting it? These aren't easy questions, but they're necessary. Because once you understand the what and the why, the how starts to reveal itself. Most people never stop to get clear on these questions. They keep running on autopilot, following routines, people, and patterns that are not aligned with who they are becoming. Clarity gives you the ability to filter your focus. It helps you say no to what doesn't matter and say yes to what does. When you're clear, distractions lose their power. You stop wasting time on things that don't serve you. You stop comparing yourself to others because you know what your path looks like. Clarity cuts through confusion like a knife. And once the fog lifts, it becomes easier to take action. Confident, consistent, and aligned action. There's something powerful about being able to wake up every day and know what you're working toward. It doesn't mean everything will be easy or perfect, but it means you'll move with purpose. That purpose becomes your anchor on hard days and your fuel on slow days. You stop asking, what should I be doing? And start doing what needs to be done. Even if you take small steps, those steps compound when you're moving in the right direction. Without clarity, fear takes over. You hesitate, you second guess, you overthink. But when you're clear, you begin to trust yourself more. You stop seeking permission and start owning your choices. That's how you build confidence. Not by waiting to feel ready, but by getting clear on what matters and moving anyway. If you're feeling stuck, don't chase motivation, chase clarity. Because clarity breeds motivation. When you know what you want and why you want it, the fire gets reignited. You begin to see possibilities instead of problems. And once that happens, the weight starts to lift. You begin to breathe again, dream again, move again. You don't need a perfect plan to start. You just need clarity on the next right step. Emotion is the fuel behind every action we take. We like to believe we are logical beings, that we make decisions based on facts, reason, and strategy. But the truth is, emotion drives action far more than logic ever will. When you're feeling stuck, chances are it's not just because you don't know what to do, it's because you don't feel like doing it. You're disconnected from the emotional energy that pushes people to move, to fight, to rise, to win. And until you reconnect with that energy, you'll stay still, no matter how much information or advice you have. Think about the times in your life when you made real change. When you finally walked away, finally got serious, finally committed. It wasn't because someone gave you more data. It was because something hit you deep. You felt something powerful, maybe pain, maybe anger, maybe a vision of a better future, and that emotion sparked movement. That's what gets people unstuck. Not more plans, not more research, more feeling. You have to feel your way forward sometimes before you think your way through. The problem is many of us have been taught to suppress emotions. We've been told to stay calm, don't overreact, be rational. And while emotional control is important, emotional connection is essential. You cannot make meaningful moves in your life while disconnected from the fire inside you. Passion, frustration, hope, love, fear, all of these emotions carry energy. That energy, when channeled, becomes momentum. It becomes drive. It becomes action. If you want to get unstuck, you have to stir up your emotions again. You have to remind yourself what's at stake. What will happen if nothing changes? Who are you hurting by staying in the same place? Who could you become if you just move? When those questions hit your heart, not just your mind, you'll find yourself ready to do things you've been avoiding for years. You'll pick up the phone, you'll send the email, you'll go to the gym, you'll take the leap. Not because someone told you to, but because you felt it. Emotion also helps you create urgency. It makes your dreams real, not just theoretical. It puts a face on the life you want and makes it too painful to settle for anything less. You have to allow yourself to feel that tension, not to get discouraged, but to get determined, get angry enough to act, get excited enough to start, get tired enough of being stuck that you can't help but move. And when you begin moving from that emotional place, you'll notice something powerful. Momentum builds. One emotional decision leads to one bold action. That action creates a result. That result gives you feedback. And that feedback stirs your emotions again. It's a cycle. One that starts with how you feel, not just what you know. One of the biggest traps that keeps people stuck is the pursuit of perfection. The idea that you have to have it all figured out before you start. That everything has to be just right. That conditions must be perfect before you take the first step. That mindset paralyzes progress. It creates a cycle of hesitation, self-doubt, and inaction. What many don't realize is that perfection is an illusion. It's a moving target that keeps you frozen. But progress, even the smallest kind, is real. It's measurable. It's empowering, and it builds over time. Progress beats perfection because progress keeps you in motion. It gives you feedback, momentum, and confidence. When you make progress, no matter how small, you're training your brain to believe in your ability to move forward. One step becomes two. Two steps become a habit. A habit becomes a lifestyle. But if you keep waiting for the perfect plan, perfect timing, or perfect conditions, you'll be stuck in the same spot 5 years from now, wondering where the time went. People often underestimate the power of small wins. They think if it's not a major breakthrough, it doesn't count. But the truth is, those little victories are what add up to transformation. Writing one paragraph a day may not seem like much, but in 3 months, that's a book. Walking for 10 minutes a day might seem insignificant, but in a year, that's a healthy habit. Progress is not about doing everything, it's about doing something consistently. Every step forward rewires your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who's stuck and start seeing yourself as someone who takes action. Waiting for perfection also keeps you stuck in fear. You keep replaying worst-case scenarios, imagining all the things that could go wrong. But action cures fear. The moment you take a step, your focus shifts from what might happen to what is happening. Progress gets you out of your head and into the real world. And once you start, you often realize that what you were afraid of wasn't nearly as big as you made it out to be. You don't need to have a perfect plan. You don't need to know every answer. You just need to start with what you have, where you are. Make progress messy, make it ugly, make it real. Some days you'll move fast, other days you'll crawl. But as long as you're moving, you're winning. Movement creates clarity. Action reveals what works and what doesn't. You can't adjust a course. You're not even walking. Progress also builds belief. Every step you take strengthens your self-trust. You begin to see yourself as capable. You start recognizing your own resilience. And that's where the real breakthrough begins, not in waiting for the perfect moment, but in making the most of the one you have right now. Progress gives you something to celebrate, something to build on, something to fight for. Listen to me. You don't have to stay stuck. You don't have to settle for a life that drains your soul. You have the power to shift, to rise, to rewrite your story, starting right now. But it begins with one thing: decision. Decide to get clear. Decide to feel again. Decide to move. Imperfectly, emotionally, but intentionally. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to wait for a sign. This is the sign. This is the moment. Because the life you want is not on the other side of perfection. It's on the other side of action. And the truth is, you've always had what it takes. You've just been waiting for permission. So I'm telling you now, you are enough. You are ready. And it's time to get unstuck. Let's go.